that will never dissipate for me. Going into usually Rough Trade West, and just knowing that there's a song you like, and just and just having it. I sort of feel like I'm 12 again, really, when I do that.
Standing in the sideline, conversation in the half-light. You remember your downtown. You really should be on your way now. Come back and turn the lights on. Throw everything around your bedroom.
I had this to hand because I thought I might play something by them anyway. And it was a group called Aztec Camera. This is their first single, Just Like Gold, which has never been issued on CD or digitally. So the only way to sort of hear it is to sort of own it, which is quite unusual these days. So I was definitely in the market for liking a sort of serious band that kind of reflected sort of pubescent turmoil sort of happening inside me. And poor old Aztec Camera bore the brunt of this this moment of soul-seeking. Roddy Frame just looked like the coolest older brother in the world in it. His hair was quite sort of, he'd let it kind of grow quite long, and he had a kind of suede fringed jacket. He had pointed boots and kind of black sort of jeans, and it was a great song. And the fact that he recorded this I think he recorded this on the eve of his 17th birthday. When I was 16, you know, I could barely put my trousers on the right way around, let alone write a song like this. It was just ridiculous. There was a period in my teens where I was probably starting to get a bit snobby, but up until then it was all fine. I didn't really understand why people were tribal, and you know, it was, if there was a record in the charts that I liked, then, you know, there's a good example. Laura Branigan, Self-Control, which would have been quite, you know, you wouldn't really boast to your friends that you sort of had something like that. Again, it's got quite a melancholy thing going on. So I do this radio series for 6 Music called Vinyl Revival, where we just have musicians in and they bring their favourite records in. I was very happy when the Wild Beasts came in and they played, I think I might have that nearby as well. They played What Is Love by Hadaway, which I think is, these two records are made in different eras, but I think they're very much related. If you looked on if it was like a piece of food, like a thing in a supermarket, you looked on the ingredients of this record and this one, they're made of the same stuff, really. About a year ago, I paid £230 for the only album that Jackson C. Frank made. Jackson C. Frank, for people who don't know, was a American sort of folk singer-songwriter who briefly went out with Sandy Denny and was very one of the sort of leading lights of the sort of folk guitar sort of revival. And his only album was produced by Paul Simon. This is a beautiful record. Gene Clark, again, this is like a sort of an absolute must-have. This isn't really rare, but it should be. I mean, it kind of is rare, but it's kind of, I don't think it's occurred to fans of Paolo Conte to actually look for a lot of his records on vinyl. Paolo Conte is just this wonderful, wonderful Italian singer-songwriter. A little bit, slightly in a Randy Newman, Tom Waits kind of mode, but maybe with slight jazz influences slightly more to the fore. And from 1990, his albums kind of barely appeared on vinyl. I think this is a limited issue in Greece. And he's just wonderful. This is his 1993 album, Novecento. He's got such a great voice.
Il treno va, scomparirà.
It's the kind of let's not fuck about box, really. And there's sort of, it changes all the time. But there's certain key records that will always be in it. Roadrunner by Jonathan Richman. Louie Louie. Milkshake by Khalees. Yeah, this is good. This is a record written by the great library composer Keith Mansfield. It's been sampled numerously over the years, but this is, you'll know this when you hear it. And again, on vinyl, you hear the depth and warmth of it on vinyl. One reason why I always love the Beatles more than the Stones, and there are many reasons, but is they loved Motown. They liked the pop stuff more than the R&B stuff. So there's this kind of pop sweetness that you get in almost any kind of Beatles song, certainly from the first half of their career. I mean, they covered this, obviously. John Lennon covered this, sang this so beautifully. They were quick onto early Motown, whilst the Stones were sort of, they would cover things like Little Red Rooster, the kind of slightly more kind of groin-based area of American music. I will always love the Beatles for that. They had that taste that they had, because I don't think it was especially cool music at the time to be into either. Not like, you know, now when we lionize Motown. But they just had good ears because of this, you know, the way the stereo separation on some Beatles albums, you know, means that you can, you know, on American copies of Rubber Soul, you get 3 albums for the price of one, because you can play it on the left channel and then you have no drums and it sounds like this kind of eerie acoustic folk record, and then you can switch it over so you've got mainly the drums but no vocals, and then you can sort of list it all together. I did this on a radio show once, so if people have heard it. You've heard me do this on the radio. I do apologise. I'm repeating myself. But it is play with this, like you said, play with the speeds. And this is the classic thing. This is the Bruce Springsteen's "I'm on Fire," which, when played at the wrong speed, turns into a Dolly Parton cover version of itself.
Tell me now, baby, is it good to you? And can you do to you the things that I do? Oh, no. I can take you high.
It's like a waste of time to kind of count them, really, when you could be doing something more interesting or cooking the tea or something. It's not. I think I've got more than I can actually listen to in my lifetime. But I sort of justify that by saying what I've really amassed here is the choice, the sort of the autonomy to choose. You need lots of records in order to feel like you've exercised the freedom to make a choice. And some of these records, you know, you don't even know why you buy them when you buy them. And suddenly it's like they're like a kind of musical time bomb. Suddenly they assume a relevance for whatever reason, maybe a new band that has come along that cited them as an influence or something, and they think, oh, I'm so glad I kept that record. I knew it would come in handy one day. When I was a teenager, I bought a Pentangle album just because they looked really cool on the sleeve. Yeah, I didn't really understand what they were trying to do, because there were 2 Charles Mingus songs on there. There were like traditional folk songs on there, and now it's one of my favourite records of all time. And not only that, but it's kind of, I got into people like Charles Mingus as a result of that record. You know, all the sources that are traceable in the selection of songs and the ones that they wrote themselves, both backwards in time and forwards to their influences. You know, that record just itself is like a little record collection. I'm just going to play that because it's kind of... mashups aren't very fashionable anymore, but what's a really good one is just a beautiful thing. And there were only about 2 or 3 people who were ever really good at mashups anyway in the first place, and one of them was Go Home Productions. And in the heyday of mashups, this got kind of ignored, but I think this is my favourite one. Alicia Keys and Stevie Wonder together.